Imagine being able to turn your passion into profit or even boosting your current business all in less than a year without having a fancy camera or high-end editing skills. Welcome to today's video where I'm going to unravel the magic formula to be able to create content effectively with intention. We're going to dive into the reasoning and the psychology of why, the strategies behind what, and the actionable steps of how. And no, I'm not just going to talk about it, and I'm not just going to show you. I'm actually going to give you a free tool that will allow you to implement this immediately after you finish watching this video. So make sure to stick to the end to find out how to get access to that. If you don't know who I am, my name is Santiago Castro, the CEO of Optic Element, where we are a visual branding agency where we help entrepreneurs, brands, and service-based businesses build on social media, leveraging visual assets. We've helped hundreds of people produce thousands of videos and reach millions doing this exact process. And today I'm going to be showing you the step-by-step PowerPoint on how to get started with content from A to Z, including a free tool, right? This is going to have everything from understanding what a brand is to then how to build your own, and then actually understanding and organizing your content to be able to then deploy it out and actually have it work for you. So this is called the content element. We've designed this for our clients to be able to give them the overall oversight of what we do and why we do it. And we actually modified this for someone who is not our client and can take this information and apply it right away. So let's dive in. So we are going to talk about the why, the what, and the how. Now, why make content? At the end of the day, we're playing an attention game. Everything that you should be tailoring your content to should be to attain and retain attention. Now, attention is the new form of currency. Before, in the industrial age, it was oil. Now we're living in the digital age, and now it's attention. So here's some car facts to prove that. More than half of the world now uses social media, about 60%. The average person spends about 3 hours a day on social media. And brand familiarity, or the ability to see and become familiar with brands, influences 80% of customers to purchase something, which is pretty insane. Now here we have Connor Price. Connor is a rapper that blew up on TikTok. He was able to become a millionaire as an independent artist, which is insane because the music industry is notorious for really having a monopoly on artists and just taking huge percentages. And he was able to do this in just under 2 years. His content brought his audience to stream his music, averaging about $200K a month as a solo artist, which is insane. And this was all powered through social media. Here we have Rob Lee. He's a full-time private chef for a billionaire in the Hamptons without having to even go to culinary school or even having to work at a restaurant. This man was able to just pretty much post content on his recipes on social media, which grabbed the attention of an agency, which paired him up with a billionaire that actually didn't want some fancy chef from a restaurant, that wanted somebody who just made good food and was just a good person. And he was able to then actually land that gig doing that. And then now he has completely changed his content into showing the behind the scenes of what it's like to be a private chef for a billionaire, which is just ramping up his growth. Now, keep in mind, Rob Lee was just a regular guy who really loved to cook and was just posting content. So to make it more relatable, this is me. I actually started shooting content consistently, talking to the camera and giving value back in 2020. And before that, I would just make some edits of travel and post some cool pictures, but nobody really cared, to be honest. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world, but apparently nobody really cared to even like it or share it, right? Now, I actually posted my first video. It was about 8 minutes long during 2020, during COVID, talking about, like something that's more value-based. And it had no crazy edits. It was just me talking. The quality was actually really trash. The lighting was poor. And it actually got a lot of traction. A lot of people wanted that type of content from me. From there, Instagram started to release out reels, short form content, and then I was able to then become consistent with that. And then in 2021, I became a lot more consistent with posting this short form content that people started hitting me up to be able to then do the same for them. Then pretty much leading into 2023, present day today, we've been able to just grow immensely as a business and then even move into our first studio space here in California. Here we have Matthew Welsh, which is one of our personal clients at Optic Element, and he was able to really grow his reach and influence outside of his industry. He was an insurance business owner, turned into a business coach. He really wanted to burst out of his bubble within his industry. He was very well known. He's built a massive team and company within the insurance world, and he was very well known for that, but he wanted to actually be known for building teams and businesses in general. He does other things outside of insurance, and he kind of wanted to display that and be able to really broaden his reach and his influence. And he's been able to do that. And actually, because of it, he's been invited to speak on podcasts and multiple events. Now, here we're going to talk about the strategy, right? Having leverage that compounds over time is the key to really achieve pretty much everything that I talked about for every single person, from, Connor to Matthew. Everything has to be hinged on a strategy, having that leverage that compounds over time. Now, here's a pyramid to kind of show you it, to understand the modern era of leverage, right? So there's a couple ways to leverage, right? You can leverage labor, and that's pretty much by, hiring people to do things for you. So you're leveraging labor in that sense. You can leverage capital, where you can get money from a bank or, get a loan or something like that to then put you in a position to leverage that. Or you can leverage code or media. Media is what we're going to be focusing on and talking about. Code is not my alley, and I'm not even going to pretend like I know what that is. What is branding? Now we're going to get into the what. Your brand is the impression you leave with people. And a lot of people tend to think that it's something that is like a logo or a color palette or, just the overall look of you. And that is a piece of your brand. But it's not really what a brand is. It's ultimately the impression that you leave with people and the feeling that they get from you. Now, when it comes to building your own brand, you want to know that you have to understand that if a brand itself is something that people feel about you and you don't really get to decide what people feel about you, you can then reverse engineer what it is that you want people to feel and then get them as close as possible to that. So this is how you're going to start that. Now, really quick, we want to go into some philosophy. The mental side of creating content is what separates winners from losers. Think of it like sports. Studying film and building endurance is a must. This is 100% going to separate you from everybody else. Step 1, you want to start with the end in mind. Your goal should always be to become a thought leader within your industry. A thought leader is someone who, based on their expertise and industry perspective, offers unique guidance and inspires innovation and influences others. So right here, real quick, feel free to pause the video. We're going to get into an action step. I want you to write about 10 facts about yourself. These are 10 things that you want to be known for, whether it's in your industry, as a man, as a woman, as a father, as a wife, whatever it is that you want to be known for within you as a person, but then also within your industry. So take like 10 minutes to do this, and then we'll get into the next part. Now that you have your 10, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to actually pick your top 5 to 4, doesn't really matter, but these are going to be your pillars, right? So your brand goal is really what's up top here, and then they're going to be held up by your pillars. This is what's going to help you to stay consistent within your lane. And this is really more of a structural thing. So that way we can consistently be showing up in the same areas to then prime people into that feeling that we were talking about earlier. So step 2, right? Now we're going to go into research and development. If you don't spend time studying and understanding content, you'll get left behind. And it's the part of the reason why I believe Instagram influencers are behind. They're consuming for entertainment, not for intentional ways to enhance their content strategy. And that's why they're stuck. So this is our 4-step recon framework. Now, you want to be looking through these different lenses as you're studying content. And the mindset that you want to have is you want to have, how can my brand fit this? You don't want to try to make these things fit your brand, because then if not, it'll look weird, trust me. Then you'll be a lawyer doing TikTok dances and then nobody's going to take you seriously, right? So now the first lens is trends, sounds, and creativity. All this is when you see whether it's a trending action or a trending sound that's on TikTok, Instagram, of just whether it's ad lib or a song or a remix of a song, whatever it is, you want to see how can this be utilized into my brand identity and how can I leverage it and put my own twist to it. And you want to then just document it, save it however you like. You can screen share it or screen record it, do whatever it is that you want to do for that. And that way you can then have that for later to be able to plan. The other one you want to do is education and research. That's just being consistently at the top of your industry and knowing everything that's happening. If you're a realtor, you should always know all the laws that are being passed. You should know your current market. You should know what it is that's happening in your industry consistently, and then trying to leverage certain strategies, how to be the best of the best. And that is your education and research. 3 is current events. This is just things that happen in the world, whether it's cultural thing where Will Smith smacks Chris Rock in the face at a award show, that is a current event. And there are ways you can leverage that to make content, because in current events are already being talked about. You want to use these to pretty much hop on the wave to be able to demonstrate what your brand is, right? But again, you want to make sure that they align with your brand. Don't try to force it, because then it'll be weird. And then lastly, peer-to-peer innovation. This is looking at people who are just a few steps ahead of you, someone who maybe is exactly on par with you. See the type of content that they're producing, see what works for them, what doesn't. And that way you can always just kind of learn from their mistakes, kind of play around with some ideas that they may have. And this doesn't mean to just like copy them verbatim. It just means that you want to use it as research to be able to know if it's something that you should try or not, right? Now, this is Matthew Welsh, again, one of our clients. This is an example of us leveraging the tax season. We had him give a piece of advice about not ever pulling out cash out of a business account during taxes, because you'll get this huge repercussion or whatever that he was talking about in this video. And it is a piece of information that is not really widely said on TikTok, and it was a little controversial. So again, we posted this during tax season, so everybody's thinking of taxes. And then now what happened is that it got a lot of traction, and then a lot of people were arguing in the comments about whether this is actual sound advice or not. But at the end of the day, it boosted the engagement. Now, Answer the Public is a great resource and tool that you can actually utilize to your advantage to be able to get in the minds of your audience. This is literally one of my favorite tools. You can research or show what it is that people are currently looking up on Yahoo, Bing, all these search engines, to be able to get a strong pulse. And this is consistently updated. So pretty much all you do is you go to the website and then you type in the industry. The more specific you are, the more specific answers you'll get. And then it's going to give you a chart like this. You can download it into a PDF, not a PDF, but you can download it into an Excel file, and then actually, you read it that way, or you can read it this way. This way looks cooler, but it's a little confusing to read sometimes. But it breaks it down into the what's, the where's, the are's, the wills, the why's, the who, the which, the when, the how, the can, right? So, for example, if I just look here, it says, let's go to what is social media content strategy, right? What is social media content marketing? What is a social media content calendar? What is social media content management, right? So these are things that people are looking up. I can literally take this and make a whole bunch of videos based off of those questions, because people have them and they want answers. So definitely utilize this tool. Step 3, preparation. This is probably one of the most important parts, because if you don't prepare, you're going to fail, and it's hard to scale that way. Now, you can do this however you like. You can write them on your notes. I personally prefer using Notion as a tool. We have a dashboard that's created where you can look at your ideas, jot them down based off your pillars. This is a little outdated. This is my old content page where I would have my pillars, and I would write my ideas, and then in these boxes you can open them up, and then it'll have the hook, the key points in the end. And I literally don't even know how to spell here. You can see all the spelling errors, and I still get it done. So you have no excuse. Here are some ChatGPT prompts that you can use to actually get more ideas, to actually help you write out your scripts. And these are actually going to be provided in the free tool that I will be showing you at the end of this video. Step 4 is execute. Now here, you want to actually set the date and the time and be intentional and be consistent here. So you want to commit. Choose the exact time and day that you want to shoot your content, right? You want to make sure that you're training your mind and your body, because it is a mental sport. It is something that you get mentally exhausted in, right? So you want to be about like an hour and 30 minutes is like a good starting point. It takes about 15 minutes to set up. Takes about 1 hour to shoot, and then break down another 15 minutes, right? If you have your setup in your room in a home office, and you may not even have to set up completely, so setup might be a little bit less time, right? So you want to do no more, no less, show up on time, leave on time. If you don't complete the work, let it run into the next shoot, and don't ever skip a day. Stick to your time, and this is how you're going to be consistent. So if you have your preparation, this part is like the easiest part. And this is literally all you need to start. Like, you don't need that much money. Like everybody has a smartphone for the most part, and you just need a light and a good mic, right? This is obviously the college budget. In the free tool, I have more in-depth equipment that you can get depending on your budget, but this is literally the bare minimum. And this is really just to prove to you that you don't need a whole lot to get started. So the next wave of successful people will be the ones who are able to capture, hold, and multiply attention. So this is, something that you want to be at the forefront of. You want to be one of those people. So this is just my Let's Connect QR code. If you want to scan that and shoot me a follow on Instagram. I mean, obviously you're on YouTube right now, so you can also make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Now, before we end, I am a man of my word, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to get this free tool. So this free tool is going to give you everything you need to be able to actually execute, kind of how we talked about in here, and so much more. So the way you do this is you have to go follow me on Instagram and DM me the word scale. And there I will send you the link to be able to go ahead and download and get that template to be able to get access to that free content creation tool. This is granted going to give you zero excuse to be able to get started. So you can really start doing this today. So you have no excuse whatsoever. You understand all the back end work. You're about to go dive into the execution part. And I actually have a video that's going to be attached with that tool and how to use it. So you're able to maneuver that smoothly. So if this video was of value at all, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, because it really does help. And that way we can continuously create content to be able to help people like you create more content to be able to leverage it to create the life that you deserve, right? So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.